welcome everyone. Today we are having a very rainy day here in Bakersfield, which this is my favorite all-time weather. I actually just sat and stared at it for a while because, here in California, we're lucky if we get, well, in our city, about 4 inches a year. So anyway, it's a good day. Um, we've got Ken from Central Illinois. Hi, Ken. So glad you're here. Um, Let us know where you're watching from. Just say hi. It's always fun to kind of just see where different people are watching from. So today we are going to start a new series, and this is going to go for a few weeks, maybe 3 weeks at least. And it's a writer challenge series. So if you're a writer with challenges, raise your hand. I'm glad you're here too, Ken. So if you're a writer with challenges, we're going to go over different challenges that writers face over the next probably at least 3 weeks, because I could probably even go longer than that. But uh, we'll stick on this subject for a few weeks. So today we're talking about how to handle interruptions. Ken says, "Me, yep, I'm there. I am there with you. I'm raising my hand too." So, how to deal with interruptions. So have you ever had you're getting ready to write. You sit down, I got the, if you're using the pen and paper, if you're using the laptop, whatever, you're totally ready to write. You sit there and all of a sudden the phone rings, or you get a ding, there's a text message, or someone knocks at the door. Or my personal favorite is the family member, mostly a child who's now an adult who doesn't live here anymore, but that's okay, would come knocking on the door to ask me the life and death question is, where is the pot and lid so I can, make such and such? And it's like, it's right underneath the cabinet where you left it last time, or where's the mustard? Because, they cannot find it inside the refrigerator. So it's those life and death questions that interrupt you, that kind of make you, and it's like if there's blood or fire, someone's visibly bleeding, dying, or there's a fire in the house, then you can bother me. But please don't interrupt me if you can't find a condiment, or, the lid to the pot or pan, the lid to the cooking pan or something. So how do we deal with these interruptions? Because we all have them, we all get them. The phone is going to ring. The people are going to talk to us because, sadly, when we're writing, some people, I'm not saying everybody, I have a very, very supportive spouse, and my family's supportive too. But some of us don't have the supportive family or friends, and so when we're writing, they think that we're just sitting here doing nothing, like it's not a big deal, like we're just vacuuming or we're just doing dishes, and it's easy to be interrupted. But something about writing, I have to get into that zone. I mean, I'm thinking, I'm right on, I'm getting right in the middle of the dialogue. It's a good part. And then if somebody interrupts me, I lose that. And that's really hard. So I've got I got about 3, 4, 5 suggestions on what you can do to um, help stop, how to handle interruptions. So first of all, boundaries. Boundaries are important with your family, by setting aside a specific writing time, like office hours. If you were going to work every day, they wouldn't call you. Your friends wouldn't call you unless you were in a place where you could receive phone calls. People just would assume, okay, look, they're at work and I will get a hold of them on a break or something like that. So as a writer, we need to set up office hours, and whether that's 30 minutes at a time, if you're doing 30-minute sprints, whether you take a couple hours, in the morning, in the evening. But Ken says, LOL indeed. The phone notifications from the group. I welcome interruptions from the group. The phone is annoying because it's 9 to 10 is a scam call. Yes. I've been getting a lot of calls lately. It's mostly for the election. I don't answer them. Thank goodness today's voting, so hopefully those stop. But anyway, when you're writing, it's good to put those boundaries. And sometimes not only do we have to put the boundaries on everybody else, we have to put them on ourselves. And I'm pointing to myself too. Put your phone on silent. That's one way. I know it's hard. Ken has a very active group. My group, well, you guys know you're in the group, but there's over 100 people in it, and people can be making, sending messages or asking questions and whatnot. And I don't want to let the group down, but then again, I do need to have my time to write. So putting your phone on silent is one way. That way you're not getting text messages, you're not getting um, interruptions. I know on mine I have a do not disturb. My family knows if it's life or death and they have to get a hold of me, they can call twice in a row and it'll ring through. But for the most part, most people don't know that. Now, all of you know that, but anyway, I during certain times, like right now, it's on do not disturb. And if somebody calls and it rings twice, I will probably look at it because it might be an emergency. But for the most part, I'm pretty good about not picking up my phone. Another thing you can do is, and I'm looking at my list so I don't forget here, um, noise canceling headset. If sounds like dogs barking or somebody else in the house is listening to TV or a show or something that's really loud, you can get noise canceling headphones. I've got just the ones that came with my phone. I have a Samsung phone, and the headset that came with it is very noise canceling. So I don't listen to music. I mean, if there's background noise, like somebody's watching TV, that doesn't bother me because I'm in another room. But I do have noise canceling headphones, and that helps. Another thing is, if you have an opportunity to go in another room and close the door, whether it be a bedroom or an office or something like that, that is really good because you can close the door, you can put a note on it, or like I have something in red that says, "Do not enter." This room right here is my studio, so I have to make sure people know, "Do not enter studio recording in progress," because then everybody walking in would be interrupting. Um, if you write at specific times, then, close the door. And I know it's hard with small kids. We have a 3-year-old granddaughter that comes to visit, and a closed door means nothing to her. She would walk right in. So I don't write when she's here, but for parents that have small kids, there has to be a way to find, to write either when they're asleep or before they get up. Sometimes we have to change our habits. We have to write at a different time. Also, if you can't write for long periods of time, like I said, do 30 minutes at a time. Do it in times when you know that most people are not going to bug you. If the kids are at school or somebody's down for a nap, right at that point, because most likely interruptions would be less than they would if the kids are there. Another thing is, and this is funny, this is exactly what I used for a long time when I had more people at home. I had a hat, and I don't have it anymore because, I don't look that great in hats, but um, I would wear a hat. It was a special writer's hat. I mean, it didn't say writer, but I would tell everybody if the hat is on, I'm writing. And that means do not disturb me. Do not interrupt me unless it is life or death. And any questions? I know, Ken, you're watching, but if anybody else is watching, do you have any questions or um, any other ways that you've handled interruptions? I'd be curious to hear about that too. But yeah, the hat worked really well because if they'd run in and the hat's on, so they would actually just turn around and walk out. And it was funny because I didn't have to put anything on the wall, and this is when I was writing in a room that was very accessible to where everybody else was. But something about that hat, and like I said, it was just a hat, not a big deal. But somehow a signal where you don't have to even talk to people, where they know that, it's writing time, it's serious time. I mean, we're serious about our writing. We're serious about getting the stories out there. And we need that time. We need that concentration time. We need that time just to kind of get into it. I know when I'm writing for the first couple of minutes, sometimes I'm not into it right away, or sometimes I'm in it right away. But um, it's hard for me just to do a 30-minute sprint. When I sit down to write, I'm looking at a couple hours straight if possible, because that way I'm in the zone, I'm writing, and I don't even notice when the time goes by. But I do know a lot of people that do 30 or 45-minute sprints. And by the way, for all of you that are doing NaNoWriMo, how's it going? Make sure you post in the group and let us know that how your word count's going. So that's about all I have um, for my hints. We weren't going to go that long today, but if anybody has questions, I'll give it a few minutes. So Ken says that he puts his phone on silence. Yeah, that's easy, because for me it is such a distraction. I mean, I can't help it. If I hear the ding of a Facebook message, or if I hear um I won't, I mean, if I see my phone's ringing, I won't pick it up. I mean, I'll pick it up and look, but I'm not going to answer it necessarily. A text, it's very hard for me not to answer a text. If it's a Facebook message, that one's hard too. So um, I I literally have to put my phone on silent and just say, this is it. This is my writing time. Anything else from anybody? Like Ken, when you go in the workshop to go work, do people bother you there, or do they just realize that you're out working with saws and things, and they're they're not going to bother you with saws and things? And the other thing is we can get in the habit of not answering text backs right away. I know it's it's difficult at times, because I feel like if people text me, I need to answer right away, and that's been something where I've really worked at, or even an email. I still answer them pretty quick, but if I am working and writing, I tell myself I can answer this in a couple hours, and just by doing that, it really helps me quite a bit. So anyway, it doesn't look like there's any other questions. So next week we're going to be talking about another writer challenge. I will post what it's going to be about when next Monday. So Ken says, when I get the Facebook, I glance at it. Oh, notification. If it's not a mention, I ignore it. No, I really don't have any problems in the shop. Yeah, see, so nobody's going to bother you in the shop. So that's what it needs to be like when we're writing, like dad's in the shop, we're not going to bother him at that point. So, and hopefully I think, most of us, our families are pretty good, but I know some people have challenges. So anyway, I hope this has been very helpful. I hope it's given you some ideas. Get the writer hat, put the sign on the door, tell everybody, hey, unless it's life or death, or, if you can't find a pot and pan to cook something, then you're just going to have to wait. Um, close the door, noise canceling headphones. Mostly it's just letting people know that you're serious. You're serious about writing, and this is your time that you're working. And that seems to work pretty good. I mean, except for little kids. They don't pay attention. They stick their fingers under the bathroom door when you go in the bathroom, because they can't stand to be away from you. So and pets are the same way. Pets love to come and sit on the keyboard. I've had a cat that likes to sit on the keyboard just as I'm getting ready to type. So Ken said, yes, it's been great. Oh, thanks for doing this. You're welcome. I enjoyed doing this. I enjoyed touching base with everybody, and I hope it does help. So I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you again next week. And I'm always in the group, so if you have questions, make sure you just throw it in the group, and I'll be there, and one of our other amazing community members will be there too. So thank you very much.